we get to talk about your healing sessions today. I'm so grateful to have you here, Grace. And I love your name, by the way.
I know. I never
Um,
liked it. Thank you, though.
I love it. So, what I find interesting is you had a group session first,
Mhm,
and then you had a private session, and
mhm.
you waited some time between that. It's as if you had the group to prepare you for the next healing. Can you describe what you felt, why you had one and then the other?
I don't know. Just intuitively, I thought it was the best thing to do. And I did make the appointments at the same time. The group session I was mostly feeling the physical and focusing on the physical. So 3 months later, when I had the individual, I really felt the emotional.
And I think what helped you is it opened you up. It's like, okay, it gave you a taste of it. It
Yes.
prepared you for what you're going into so that you knew what was coming rather than
Yes.
going in blindly. And I also believe that it started your healing.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel. And I'm a very cautious person and I need to go slow with certain things.
But I'm grateful you did. I was really touched by your session. There were lots of things that you um, emailed me and told me, validations like your migraines and your nauseousness and we'll go through a little bit of this. But one of the things that really, really got me was I remember in the healing session so vividly because I'm laying there being your proxy. And at one moment, I am seeing you in the womb, in your mom's womb. And at that moment, I'm like, what's going on? She she was not responding. She was like almost like she was drugged and my body couldn't move. I couldn't talk. And I was feeling what you were feeling, almost like you weren't feeling any love from her. You weren't feeling
Mm.
anything from her. You were just kind of alone. And so tell me why I was feeling that. I just think this is
Well,
miraculous.
this is giving me chills for you to say that because my mother had told me that um, she was totally drugged and that the doctors weren't very nice to her. My mother and I have never had a very comfortable relationship. So maybe when I was in the womb, maybe she was feeling sick. I know she did want a child, but then she told me later she never did want a child.
Right.
So I really don't feel like I ever had that cozy, loving relationship with her. And I think it started at the birth. Maybe it started before then.
I think it started at the birth. I think it was like God took you to a space of where it all began.
Yeah.
And so things take a while to come out in us. And I also feel like it's about that self-love. It's about like, how do we love ourselves when we weren't embraced in the womb, when we weren't wanted, we might not feel like we are enough, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we were able to go back and really hold you in love as a child so that you were almost like you're being rebirthed during that healing.
Well, the weird thing is, it before I listened to it, it was coming out all totally emotional for me. And I was going back to my childhood home and back to my grandparents. And I said, wow, I can't imagine what she's going to say. And the symptoms that you described were many symptoms that I go through all the time. And I go into fear about them. And then I have to just, relax because I'm very sensitive and notice them all. So I don't know if
It's
that
like a
answered the
trigger. It's
question.
like a
Yeah,
trigger,
it's
right?
a
It comes
trigger.
up.
Yeah.
And so God talked about that. And he said you have
Yes.
to let that fear go when things happen. It's like
Yes.
you're giving power to it. So then all of a
Yes.
sudden it
Yes.
just
In fact, that is exactly what going to all the doctors and then even the naturopath who she helps me, but it's like that's what I came to realize that it's the base. And by the time I got to that healing session 3 months later, I felt it. And then I just knew before I even listened to the tape that that's the core. The core.
wow, wow, wow. And I remember talking about dizziness, and God can be really, really fun. Like he gives you these visions that I was like, okay, you never know what you're going to get. Um, and I remember telling you that,
Oh my
oh, you have this dizziness, and how can I describe it? And now I see like us on teacups. It's
God.
like,
Oh my
when you're on
God.
a teacup ride and then you
Yes.
get off and you turn and you're like, oh, and I'm like,
And oh
I
my
actually
God.
felt dizzy like that.
And oh my God, that's one of my big childhood memories. I was on a teacup ride with my cousins screaming and throwing up and couldn't get off. And I mean, it was a fun place to be, but yeah, and that dizziness does come up from time to time. Maybe it is a time when God is saying, okay, either rest or watch out
Just
or
be aware of it. It's like
yeah,
he was making it aware that he knows that you're dizzy. So it's
yeah,
like, okay, so I'm going to help heal this dizziness. And then he talked about the thyroid.
yes. That
Um,
that
oh,
a couple of doctors have said your thyroid feels a little swollen. But when they do the blood work, nothing shows. Like you said that, it's funny. That's what she would say, the doctor. Feels a little swollen, but nothing's showing up. So
that's how
that's
I was
really
feeling.
funny.
And that's what God will show me. And then the words come through. And I think it's like, I'm going to go through every inch of your body and even
Yeah.
tell you things that you are aware of that you don't need to worry about. Well, we're going to address them and we're going to heal them.
Hmm.
And so, um, something that you didn't expect, but the words came through exactly the way the doctor said, that's
Hmm.
pretty miraculous. That's
Exactly.
cool.
Yeah.
I remember seeing you physically, in my mind. And I remember seeing you and I'm like, oh, I'm kind of confused. You're wearing like a nurse outfit. I go, and I even questioned, like, okay, I'm just gonna say it. Are you a nurse? Were you a nurse?
I know. And I was for 40 years, and I'm really sad that I'm not. While I was lying there before I listened to your session, I had a lot of sadness about that time in my life. It was my 20s, 30s, 40s. I love the patients I work with. I worked in a long-term care facility, so I got to know them, and we were like their family. So I really missed it. I'm really sad. But yeah, that was
I-
really strange.
that was strange for me too. And then I'm like, okay, is she in the room? Is she helping? Is she watching? And I think one of the things God was doing was he was kind of celebrating you for the work that you did to help
Oh,
people. And
it's really
so,
heartfelt.
yeah, and just be saying, you know what, your work will never go unseen, even though you feel like, oh, I miss it. What you did will last forever in the people that you
Mhm.
help.
Oh, thank you.
There were so many things that you mentioned that you were dealing with, even the pain in your right shoulder
Hmm.
from, the chills and the migraines. And we were really in sync. I was feeling chills. You're going through chills. And that's what I think is so amazing. Like even going to the right shoulder, some things that might not be that bothersome, but it's like saying, you're so far away and I'm here. And yet we're feeling when you listen to this same feeling of I'm getting warm, I'm getting cold.
Hmm.
And it just shows you how that energy travels and how you were so in sync with me.
Oh, I'm telling you, I went to lie down and I mentioned that synchronistically I was maybe supposed to be in New Haven with my husband, but we got out early and I could just feel the energy. I felt the energy. And the right shoulder, yeah, it's not a huge symptom, but my mother used to slap me a lot on the right shoulder. So I was always like that. So, I don't tell a lot of people that, but it's like a PTSD thing. And so it is a big deal. And it's more in the emotional at this point, even though I can still physically feel it. So it's huge.
So
And
something so minor to me because I didn't feel the pain, but it was so big to you, which is
big,
that's amazing. And while
huge.
you're talking to this, I felt almost like pressure in my chest, almost like that caused like anxiety for you.
Yeah, I have huge anxiety and it shows up as pressure in my chest.
Yeah, so just look at how I'm feeling that now, and that's how everything is connected. So
Yes.
that anxiety was addressed as well, lifting
Yes.
that, pulling that, and talking about fear and letting these things go so that you're not giving it power, right? You're just saying,
Right.
okay, this is happening to me. I'm safe. I'm okay. I'm going to breathe through it and just give it all to God.
Hmm. And that's almost my biggest takeaway. And I have to keep reminding myself about that because, yeah, you hear it all the time, give it to God, give it to God. But it's like, it was such a personal, emotional healing. And
I like that you said personal, because that's what I feel the private sessions are. They are
yeah,
personal. There's details that come through that there's no way I would know any of
no,
this.
and
And
everything.
there's no way that this would be something that would be relatable to everybody.
No, I mean, the group session, I was relatable to me and some of the things, but this was like every word you spoke. And it was on a feeling level too. I mean, even if you said nothing, I just felt before I even listened to the tape, it was palpable energy to me in the room. And as I had mentioned, like I have two dogs and sometimes they're itchy and, cats, two cats, they just chilled while you were doing that session. Not when I was listening, but while the session was going on. It was really strong for me, palpable energy. And they just slept the whole time.
So they felt it too.
Yeah, like no cats came in through the door, nobody jumped on the bed, nobody asked to go outside.
Everything was
Yeah.
calm.
Yeah.
It's like they prepared not only my room, but your
Yes.
room.
Yes. And my husband was out and he's not really that troublesome, but he came back like just when the session was over. It was just like God said, you're going to be alone except for your animals. It was just really uncanny, the timing of the day, because I'd been looking forward to it and thinking about it.
And then you wonder, like, is it going to all work out? Is it going to be too noisy? Am I going to be able to take it all in?
Yeah.
And then you just
Yeah.
kind of like, okay, I'm going to go for it. And then
Yeah.
God
And I
took
said,
care of it. And it's like,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
But that in
Yeah.
itself was a miracle.
It was a miracle. It was a palpable miracle.
So, how do you feel today? Because I know God had said, He showed me like you running in the pasture and
Oh,
just feeling.
I forgot one thing that you said to me. How do I feel today? You said something very quickly. Life is hard. Sometimes you have a hard time keeping it together. I had a bad day yesterday because my sister has some kind of dementia. Um, but I just had a really bad day and I was really like, wow. But that one sentence you said to me was like so powerful because how I feel today, I woke up having a bad day. I think just going forward, I'm gonna keep the two sentences that really got to the core of the healing for me was to trust and the joy of running through the field. It's an image to me because I go through field with my dog. Yeah, so how I feel today, I think every day isn't going to be really happy, and that's human life. So I'm feeling pretty okay. I'm feeling human
I
and I'm
like
feeling
that.
trust.
And
Yeah.
we're all we all have to have, honor our emotions. I'm having a shitty day.
Yeah.
So today is my shit day. And I'm going to feel it, but I'm going to walk through it.
Yes.
And how am I going
Yes.
to walk through it? How do I choose to walk through it? And I love your name, Grace. We
Oh,
walk through
thank
it with
you.
Grace. And so it's recognizing it, and then, like with your sister, that there's not a lot that you might be able to do, but
No.
yet it brings you sadness, it
Mm,
brings you heaviness, it brings you so many different feelings. So
yes.
you feel them, you can't just push them aside, but then, like you said, you trust and you're just like, okay, I'm going to let this go, God, because I can't control this, but I'm going to give
Yeah.
this to you to do
Yeah.
something
That,
about.
and when I heard that, I'm like, thank you. Thank God. I mean, I had heard it before. I had written it down before, but I just was like, thank you. And yeah, because I can't figure it out.
No,
It's
we
not,
really don't have that control.
no, no.
No. And so the words that came through for you were exactly what you needed to hear.
Oh, it's just like this second time around. It's just crazy every moment. So yeah,
Well,
people wouldn't believe it if I told them. They probably think I was making it up. People have heard all my symptoms and my problems.
yeah, because they were so addressed. Even me reading your email back, right? Because I'm just the conduit. So
Hmm.
I let it all come through. And afterwards I'm like, whoa, that was really cool. But I
Yeah.
have no idea what the meaning is going to be to you. And then when I read it, I'm the same way going, what? Really? What?
Crazy.
And I feel like this is so
Even
amazing.
the left eye, if you know, I Reiki my left eye every morning. It's so crazy. And it feels like it's getting better. Okay, so I do have to say, when you say, how am I feeling? My physical feelings feel better. And it's on a slow trajectory, but my energy is good. I don't need to take naps anymore. I don't feel tired. I can come back. You know what I'm saying? So I had a bad day yesterday, but I can come back, and that's hopeful. That's good.
That does give you hope. And you just
Yeah.
know, like, okay, I got to walk through this.
Yeah.
But I like what you said, that healing can be a process.
Yeah.
And during that time, you're going to have the faith and the trust.
Yeah.
And just and let it be. You're not forcing it. You're not giving it power to make it worse. Your brain's not spiraling. You're
Right.
just going to just be and and watch it, which is
Yeah.
beautiful. And some things have happened right away. Like you said, you were crying and
Yes.
releasing before you even heard about it, which that is amazing
It
because
I
it's
wa
like it's
Yeah.
integrating in you. You're crying, you have no idea really why, right?
Mhm.
And then you listen to it and you're like,
Yeah. And I have to say, my physical symptoms, I don't take naps. I forgot about that. I have consistent energy. I hardly drink coffee, so I'm not depending on that. Um and yeah, I'm able to bring myself up. And so I always so forgot something else I was going to say. But anyway, when I look back, I'm like, wow, I don't take naps anymore. I don't feel that fatigue during the day. So that's a big deal. That's a big physical
that is a
symptom.
big deal. Isn't it
And
funny? Like when we have something, we recognize it. Like,
yeah,
oh, my knee hurts. But then
yeah.
all of a sudden, when you're walking and and it
Oh,
feels
and my
better, you
feet.
forget about
And at
how
the
that
end,
knee hurt.
yeah, and at the end you said my feet, and my feet don't hurt anymore. I was having a lot of issues with my feet, and I don't feel the burning of the gastric reflux. I still feel anxiety. I guess, it's almost like my symptoms are really relatable to emotion. Oh, I don't get many headaches anymore either.
See,
My headaches are, so it's so funny because if you didn't even, like, I don't even think about that because, like you said, I've kind of forgotten. I
right?
maybe
Unless
get
they're
half,
there, do we know
yeah,
them?
half as many migraine headaches, and they used to be 4 to 6 a month and really bad, and yeah, and now they
But
go away on their own. Even if I get a migraine aura, it's crazy. I mean, I still get them, but not like before.
intense.
So I
Yeah.
guess I have had a lot of physical healing, but I
Yeah,
forgot about
we don't really recognize
it.
them once they're
No,
gone. We
it's
just know
true.
when they're there.
It's so
Um,
true. How
so
funny.
that's
Wow.
great that we talked
Thank
about that.
you.
No,
Yeah.
thank you, God. Like you did such a great job, and you stepped into it. You showed up. That's the big thing.
Thank you.
And now God also gave you tools when you do have anxiety, what to do and
Yes.
how to handle it.
Yes.
So just, keep doing those tools, listen to it. It's like having a healing over and over and
Yeah.
over. Just
And I might
continue.
do like a group session again, and who knows, but it's like just, yeah, wow.
A
I
lot of
forgot.
people like to be in the groups over more than one because they want to be in that energy just to
Yes.
kind of like a
Yes.
reboot,
Yeah,
right? It's just like,
absolutely. I probably will. I know I will, in
well,
fact,
it'd be nice to see your face again.
thank you.
It was
Thank
so
you.
nice to meet
And
you.
you too. And I can't believe I forgot that I don't feel a lot of these physical symptoms anymore. It's crazy. Thank you for talking with me and even doing that, because I just forgot that I used to be tired and take a lot of naps and have more headaches and have burning. So I don't. So thank
It's
you.
isn't that amazing and
It is.
miraculous
It
and
is.
beautiful
It is.
and yeah, sometimes it's just talking about it that then
Yeah.
we remember. So, thank you for taking the time to do this with
Thank you.
me, and I hope that the hope that was given to you, that your words will now give hope to others.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.